Hey class, and welcome to this week's lesson, lesson 6. Before we get started here, I know I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I am wearing the same thing as I was in my last video, and let me tell you why. The reason why is because I'm trying something new. So in the spirit of time management and, being efficient with our time, I am going to try and shoot multiple videos so that way I have them ready to go. And, I spend the time kind of making all my notes and all that, and then just shooting the videos, and then they're done. So I'm trying it out this first time. Usually, what I do, kind of my old process was every week I would, write my notes, and then I would shoot my video sometime during the week, and then I'd post it that weekend. So, anyways, and this is kind of a trial for me. We'll see if I feel like it saves me any time down the road, and if so, I might make multiple videos at once. So you may see similar outfits, but yeah. Anyways, not that you needed to know any of that. Um, but yeah, let me go ahead and jump into this week's work. Um, this week in our life skills, we are going to be talking about goals and habits. I love, just like last week, I love this topic because just like with time management, I'm a goal oriented person. I showed you last week kind of how I write down like a to-do list always. Um, and I think goals are such a good thing to help drive progress and improvement in anything. In my job that I have in my day to day, everything is focused around goals. We call them KPIs, and just all sort of all sort of KPIs we measure, and then that helps us drive our business. But anyways, with goals, there's two different types of goals, and I really like how this is broken down, and you'll enjoy reading through this, and they have a really good diagram that I think will bring this to light a lot better than I can explain. But there's basically top level goals and then lower level goals. And what that means is top level goals are kind of a little more generic, and they don't necessarily say how you're going to achieve that goal, right? So an example would be I want to get a goal. My goal is to get an A in this class. Okay, that's a great goal to have, but that's a little more of a top level goal, right? I mean, you got to really think about how am I going to get that A in the class, and that's where the lower level goals come in, right? So my lower level goals would be something like I'm going to complete my assignments on time each week, right? That's my goal. Every week I want to have my assignments turned in on time. I want, a goal to achieve better than 90% on all of my math quizzes, right? These are all goals that kind of build up, or they go into that top level goal, and they're kind of considered more lower level goals, like individual goals that you work on in order to achieve that top level goal. So I hope you enjoy that. Habits is always an interesting section to read, and there's a really good video about it, about like how your brain's wired, and how we have habits and how it's hard to change those habits. But sometimes it's needed. Sometimes you have a goal that you are trying to achieve, and maybe one of your habits kind of impedes that goal. For me, I always have this goal that I'm going to exercise every morning before I go to work, but I have a terrible habit of staying up too late at night the night before. So doing that makes it really hard to achieve my goal of getting up and exercising in the morning before I go to work. There's things like if I ever want to achieve that, I got to change that bad habit of going to bed too late. So we'll be talking about goals and habits. The application activity that kind of goes along with goals and habits, and even last week's time management, is called Getting Things Done. And that's like the best title. Whoever put this course together and named this assignment Getting Things Done, I love it. Such a good title for the assignment. And what you're going to do is you're going to track everything you do in a day. And this could be really eye-opening for some people, because sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm not on my phone that much, or I don't watch TV that much. And all of a sudden you track everything you do in a day, and it's like, wow, man, what else could have I done today if I chose not to watch TV for 2 hours, right? What if I just watch TV for 30 minutes, or one show an hour or something like that, right? Or what if I didn't spend so much time on social media? What else, what could I fill? Because if I don't do that, what do I fill my time with? And then all of a sudden, all these things, it's like where you don't have time to do things like, oh, I don't have time to go help my neighbor or read my scriptures or things like that. All of a sudden, you realize, well, no, I do have the time. I just have to prioritize it. I got to make it my goal. I got to make it a priority. I think this is a great assignment, this application activity. You'll track what you do throughout the day, and then there's some questions that go along with setting top level goals and lower level goals. So I hope you enjoy that. The writing activity for this week, we're going to be, we turned in our essay last week, and now we're shifting a little bit. We're going to be focusing on purpose and audience. I think audience is so key when you're writing a paper, because it really determines the tone of your paper and how you're going to write it. So I think this is a great skill to learn in your writing and as you go throughout a career, because if you I think of some instances for me. For example, I'm an engineer, and so there was times where I would have to kind of pitch an idea to maybe an upper level manager in the business that wasn't an engineer and probably isn't going to understand a lot of the technical lingo. And so I would need to figure out a way to pitch those ideas and talk to them in a way that they would understand, because that was my audience. Now, if I was with a group of engineers, I could talk a completely different way about the same exact project, right? And so that's key to learn, is who is your audience? Who are you talking to? Because that's really going to dictate the style of writing that you're going to do. And then last but not least, in our math this week, we're going to be working on what's called order of operations. And you'll learn all about something called PEMDAS. And I love this acronym. There's a good infographic on it, so make sure you look at that. But basically, it makes it so to me, PEMDAS is one of those things that you'll just always remember. Like, I remember learning it way back when, and it just has stuck with me always. Anytime I get in a scenario where you've got parentheses and multiplication and addition and subtraction, I always think PEMDAS in my head, and that tells you what your order of operations is, right? So it starts with parentheses, then you do your exponents, then you do your multiplication and division, and then you do your addition and subtraction. So good stuff there. If you have any concerns with it, please let me know. This is kind of where the math starts to get a little more in depth. We start introducing variables as well. So if anyone's struggling on the math, please do not hesitate to reach out. I've mentioned this before. I don't see as much of the math because I don't grade any of that. It's all auto-graded. So please, if you're having struggles with it or troubles with it, make sure that you reach out to me. So that's all I got for you this week. I hope that you have a great week. And if you need anything, please let me know.